Hello everybody, I'm Hoardergamer, and this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. I hope you're doing well. We've got comic book reviews, we got games to talk about, we got toys, and then we look into the future all the way to 1 week from today. We'll be doing all of that. And who knows, it might be 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You never know how long this show is going to be. It's usually less than an hour. I can say that much. It's almost always less than an hour. Well, first up, our first comic book review is Blue Beetle by Trujillo and Gutierrez. And I like it. I think it's good. It's basically Jaime teaming up with former villains that also have the Beetle. See, I thought this was going to be totally a jump on point if you didn't know much of the whole Blue Beetle universe. It really is not, because apparently 2 or 3 former villains that also have scarabs are now heroes, and Ted Kord is training them as well as working with Jaime Reyes. So that's going on. The Madmen show up, which are apparently a group of like psychopaths that Ted Kord as Blue Beetle faced quite a while ago. They show up. There's some crazy, possibly new alien that shows up and gives some Ted Kord some issues. And then you have like the camaraderie between Jaime Reyes and basically the members of the new Blue Beetle team that Ted Kord is basically training. I think it's good. I like it. Again, my only issue is that I don't fully understand certain elements of it. What was really cool is, though, there's aliens called, apparently, the Horizon, and they're just trying to have a nice meal in a restaurant, and all of a sudden, these people are, like, very xenophobic. Like, in this case, literally xenophobic against actual, like, space aliens. And Jaime steps in and basically kind of, like, diffuses the situation. And you can understand the anger that one of the aliens has, because they didn't do anything. And Jaime's trying to explain, I'm sorry, sometimes it takes humans a while to adapt to different changes and things. So that was good. So if you're a fan of Blue Beetle and you understand like the past and everything like that, then I think you'll really dig this. I think it's really good. The artwork is very nice, and the big like kicker that happens at the end of the issue will kind of like grab you, and you'll want to know what happens in issue 2. Like, I definitely want to know what happens in issue 2, and I want to know more about, apparently, what they called them, the former villains. Let's see here. 1 second. I apologize. Dynastus and Natita. So. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy, you know, sometimes you pick up a comic book and you're like, oh, you know, $3.99, whatever it is. I say that just because it's like $3.99 or $4.99. That's how much comic books are now, at least from like DC and Marvel. And you're like, oh, I hope it's not like I just threw the money away, you know? And it definitely wasn't. This was very good. And the only issue I have with it is my lack of familiarity with the entire Blue Beetle universe. I'll be very honest here. I don't even have that much familiarity with Ted Kord. And I hate to say it, I didn't know there was a Blue Beetle before Ted Kord. So, yeah. That's a character that's very much in my blind spot. No matter who, you know, dons the scarab, I guess you could say. Okay, that is our first review of the night. That was Blue Beetle #1. It's part of the Dawn of DC where they were like, you know, giving issue ones and new creative teams, mostly new creative teams, with all these different popular characters this year. So it's part of that series, that ongoing series of different books. Next up, we have some video gaming news. Starfield. I like Starfield a lot. I think it's really good. I question some of the lower reviews it was getting. Like 7 isn't terrible, but here's the problem. Video game rating as a whole is broken. The entire industry now believes that a 7 for a video game is the equivalent of a 5, which is average. That's absolutely insane. And I will not, I just won't deal with it. If I say a game is a 7, I'm not saying the game is average. If I'm giving it a 5, I'm saying it's average. If I'm giving it a 6, it's a little above average. 7, well above average. 8 is probably around like saying great or maybe excellent, something like that. So just under great or excellent. It's not average. So it's just weird to me, man. It's like the big websites and everything that do comic book reviews all basically kind of decided that the 5 is no longer the legitimate number for an average game. It's a 7. So basically, IGN, I think it was it IGN or who was it, man? I think they gave it a 7. They basically said it's a 5 out of 10 then. It's technically what they did, which is crazy. And I very much question the motivation behind that. The review was really weird. It focused a lot, at least IGN's review, it focused a lot on the fact of a lack of immersion. Last year, Todd Howard said this will not have the immersion level of like No Man's Sky. Not the launch version of No Man's Sky, the version that exists now. So you don't seamlessly get into a ship and then pilot it out of the atmosphere and then pilot it in to another planet or whatever, a base or something like that seamlessly. It doesn't do that. But just about everything else in the science fiction, Mass Effect, Star Wars, Star Trek type of fantasy that you have is in the game. Like, combat I thought was really good, and a lot of people are like, it's very questionable. The only issues I had is I came across a lot of bugs. Not actual video game bugs. Very dangerous alien bugs. And they are far too resilient. And you have far too little ammo to deal with these damn things. I died so many times to these insects that it was absurd. I'm playing it off stream, so it's not like there's documentation of my playing this game. And I didn't do that on purpose. It's my Xbox is used as my Blu-ray player, the living room. So if I play something on the Xbox, it's going to be, just off stream, basically. But yeah, those bugs are insane. And I have a number of notes that I took about like the game and what I think about it. And I'll say far too many crafting materials. Give me a break with all these crafting materials. I can't keep track of them. And like almost every time I check, I don't have one of the correct ones I need. I have like everything else. Also, it's very obtuse as to how you build an outpost to mine precious resources and then get that to yourself without having to head back to the planet where the outpost is, physically approach the outpost and get it back. It's a oddly complicated thing you have to do, and I just foolishly thought that it would just be mined and automatically like put into some sort of resource bank that I would go to or, download. I don't know. I don't know what I thought, but that is exactly not what happens in the game. And then ammo is just prohibitively expensive. It is crazy. Like to load one of your guns, it's like 5,000 credits. And like to give you an idea, Currently, I have like 30,000 credits. So if I wanted ammo for 2 guns, that's like 10,000 credits right there. And some of these guns go through ammo like it's water. It's crazy. Also, too, I made note of, you do find ammo, but in my case, it was always finding ammo for guns I didn't want to use. So your mileage might vary there, but that was always kind of interesting. I honestly think the ammo could be just a little less expensive. I mean, you're telling me 25 credits per bullet, 50 credits per bullet. Like, I thought the game was kidding. There might be some ammo that's like 100 credits per bullet. I don't know, but like, that's insane. Just taking one gun that you like and focusing on it. And it actually, the game kind of penalizes you, to be honest with you. Because you choose, do you want to work on your ballistics? Do you want to work on your trait for pistols? Do you want to work on, like, long guns, like rifles and things like that? You choose that, and then you can level that up. And great, cool, you did that. You've leveled it up a couple levels. You just can't find any pistol ammo. You just can't find any ballistic ammo. Let's see here. Oh, be very, very careful about thieving. Okay? If you steal things in this game and you're caught, different things can happen. One was incredibly shocking to me because I didn't know anything about it. I don't want to spoil that for anybody, but there's a certain place that if you steal something, you're actually creating a brand new story arc along the main story arc, and it is multiple hours. Like, I'm not talking about like, oh, you're in jail and you have to get out. I'm talking just sort of craziness. Man, it really ties into certain character traits. But I don't want to say what those are because it's a spoiler. But yeah, certain places, if you steal, like, you know, when I am playing on a sofa, it's late at night, I accidentally hit the A button. Everything changed right there and then. Tell you what, I woke up. I woke up to what I was doing, that's for sure. Okay, so that's, I think, enough Starfield. Hopefully, if you're a fan of like science fiction, space travel, combat, also space combat's really satisfying. You just have to understand that you have a gun on your left and right, and chances are, if you're only going to use one of those to weaken like the shields and stuff, you're gonna take a lot of damage. You got to make sure to use both of those guns. I just had to recently repair the ship, which wasn't bad. That was 1,000 credits, and I had no issue with that. I was like, wow. So like, bullets will cost me 5,000 for one gun, but repairing the ship, like a number of different things in the ship, 1,000 credits. I'm like, okay, I guess that makes some sort of sense. Okay, so Diablo 3, the new season should be starting soon. I would not have been shocked if they announced it today to start Friday. But I've been checking like every couple hours. That has not happened. So I would think maybe Diablo 3's next season, season 29, starts next Friday. That's what I would think. I would think next Friday. Because usually after the thing called the PTR happens, which is like where they test things out, see how the season's going to be, and it's a small group of people that do that, then it's around 2 weeks after or so that they have the season start. So that really kind of lines up. Like, it would have been kind of rushing things if it was this Friday, but it would not have been an impossibility. But next Friday really is like that 2 weeks. So It's very possible that that starts. I believe it's the Portals of Enmity. It's the something of Enmity. And it sounds like it's like one of those Russian dolls where you keep opening portals and more difficult enemies with these insane new affixes are in there, and they're really like dangerous. Like, I don't know how many portals I'll be able to get through. Like, it sounds really intense. And it sounds weird though, because like some of the affixes these enemies have are going to be like frustrating. Not like fun in a difficult way, but like frustrating. So I'm interested to see what people think of it. If they tune it differently, you know, that's all pretty interesting to me. Here is some excellent news. Video gamers, comic book fans, especially Spider-Man, oh my god. Especially Spider-Man fans. Spider-Man 2 is still coming out October 20th. So there was some recent talk involving the Writers Guild of America and SAG-AFTRA, and also now the Actors Guild for like video gaming and specific companies, strike companies, including WB Games and some other real large ones. Not really the indie ones so far. And there's talk of like an authorization type of thing, and they're authorized to do a vote for the strike. And I want to say that the vote is relatively soon, but apparently, even like knowing that information, Insomniac still believes that Spider-Man 2 is going to come out October 20th, which is excellent. I'm looking forward to that game. And yeah, I'm guessing all the voiceover work is completed for it, and that would make sense, being that it comes out, oh, you know, in just over a month. Now, the DLC could be a very different matter if they actually do decide to strike. So that could be, you know, maybe next year, something like that. I don't think they've officially said there's going to be DLC, but I think there's a very good chance that there will be DLC for Spider-Man 2. Like, I think it's an excellent chance. So, now, another thing we know will have DLC, MK1. So, that game comes out, gosh, like in a week or two. Like 2 weeks, I believe. And I actually have a little bit of news about that, not just this. And it's going to have these, like, seasons that almost look like a board game type of, like, single player mode, and there's like story, and every season it's going to be like a different type of story in that mode. Plus there's also going to be DLC characters like Homelander, Omni-Man, and everyone else that they bring to the game. So getting all that voiceover work and everything, that could be affected. Like, that's where I could see like things being affected, you know. Also, like, as I talked about it with on the weekly wrap up with Doom Squad Gaming, of which I am a proud member, by the way. We talked about like Wonder Woman, that game, and like Wolverine, games that are not probably as far along and will probably have a lot of voiceover. Those could be affected, but again, that's if they actually do decide to strike. Now, what was really interesting is in our group, someone suggested, well, some of these super large companies, what will stop them from deciding to go like the scab route? And I was like, thinking to myself, I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But when you have these massive corporations like that, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping that does not occur, though. But we found out today Megan Fox will be Natara, a vampire lady who's going to be an MK1. And apparently a character that's been in the mythos before. And it looks really cool. Like, it's mo-capped. It very much resembles, the character resembles Megan Fox. And there's a line of dialogue that could be based on Mortal Kombat history or Jennifer's Body, which is a really cool horror comedy that honestly just was not, you know, it wasn't given justice at the box office. Like, I've seen that movie like 6 times. And it's funny. It's a little scary. Apparently, there's a director's cut, but I have no idea how I can watch that because it was only on, I think, Max. Used to be called HBO. And now I think it's gone there. So, I don't know. It might be the one that's on Blu-ray. I have no idea if that's a director's cut or not. But yeah, that is all the video gaming news for this week. Besides, like, certain things like, you know, Starfield and, I actually, one other piece, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 officially came out today, I believe, for PlayStation 5. So, that happened. And there's rumors right now, the Xbox version could be out by, like, the end of October or something. Like, much sooner than people thought. There was a whole issue where the Xbox Series S, the less expensive model, was having issues with the split screen for, like, multiplayer. And because of that, the game was going to be pushed back on Xbox till some point next year, like early next year. And now, basically, Microsoft has said, you know what? In this rare case of our parity clause, we're going to let that slide, and so you can put the game out. And rumor has it that it could be as soon as the end of October, which is going to be wild if it's that quick. But yeah, looks like an amazing role-playing experience. I'm actually going to be streaming it on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Hoardergamer. Probably real soon, in the next few days or so, I'll probably start that up. Also been doing a lot of Wayfinder, been enjoying that. But yeah, now that is all the gaming news. Next up, it is time for us to toy around. If you know what this means, you're a better person than I. You're a better Marvel fan than I am. So, HasLab is usually these expensive, really awesome collector items that you have roughly 30 to 40 days in order to, like, crowdfund. Like, if you want it, you basically go and you're like, okay, I'll take it. And at the end of the crowdfunding, they charge you, similar to Kickstarter. Well, Hasbro does the same thing, and they call it HasLab. Some of them get funded, some of them don't. The Ghost, which is the ship from Star Wars Rebels, it's actually really amazing looking, by the way. If you can go to Hasbro Pulse, definitely take a look at it. It's not cheap, but they did get all the stretch goals, and it is going to be made. So it is $500, but it is also, like, gigantic. Like, I'm trying to tell you right now, but this picture is slightly in the way. But it's absolutely massive. And it's got the entire crew now of the Ghost. Because aside from Hera, everyone else was like a stretch goal. So it's these incredibly great sculpts of all the characters. You know, it looks amazing. It looks really good. But man, $500. $500. Okay, well, I don't know if this will be $500, but the next HasLab is going to be Marvel Legends based. And it's confusing to say the least. There's a series of 7 pictures that they've been showing, and most of them are just assortments of different, like, heroes and villains in the, you know, Marvel Legends toy universe, basically, fighting one another. So, Doom, good to see you, Doom. So it's like all these heroes are fighting one another. Heroes and villains are fighting one another. And they just keep showing more and more characters. And now I think it's a total of like 30 Marvel Legends figures. So I don't know if this is going to be some ridiculous, ultimate, like, Marvel/Avengers hero and villain set. Like something ridiculous where it's like 25 figures and then Stilt Man. That shadow there. I don't know who they're trying to say that is. Like, apparently it's someone super tall. And I was thinking Stiltman, if you're looking at Marvel and not just Avengers. Because that'd be pretty crazy. Like, a Stiltman that's, like, high quality, really big, right? And then, like, 20 Marvel Legends figures. That would be hundreds of dollars. That's what a HasLab usually is. Probably about, like, 300 on the average. They had an absolutely beautiful, an amazing Galactus. It was so cool. It was like, I want to say like 2 years ago. And I believe it was 400. But he's like 33 inches tall. He has lights and sounds and multiple heads and comes with a 6-inch Norrin Rad Silver Surfer. Comes with 2 of the other Heralds. Absolutely ridiculous. And now in the secondary market, I believe goes for 800 to 1,000. So just to give you an idea, these things are very popular. And they also did a Sentinel, but I believe it also had a Master Mold head, so it could be Master Mold. And I want to say that was 300, and that was like 3 years ago or so. So I don't know. Are they going to do Stiltman and just a whole mess of real popular, I guess you'd say out of print Marvel Legends figures? I have no idea. I mean, it could be like Giant Man or something like that, but those legs, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're trying to convey there. But again, this is picture 4 of 7. And as of the September 8th, Friday? As of Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, so 10 p.m., I'm sorry, 10 a.m. Central Time, we'll know what this is. So. Okay, let me put this away then. It was Agatha all along. Okay, everybody. Agatha Harkness. An excellent facsimile of the actress Catherine Hahn as the character right there. I think they did a really great job with this sculpt. I really like this a lot. And now you can create the best moment in WandaVision where Agatha's head pops off and she puts on Captain America's head. And then she pops that off, puts on a mech head, and then a backpack and flies around. You can now recreate that amazing moment in WandaVision with this set. No, that's actually part of a build a character. I think was it not Warmonger. I'm trying to remember the name of it. But it was like Captain America in the 40s and like kind of a mech suit that he's wearing. So, but yeah, you get those parts with Agatha. Agatha has the necklace. There's a lot of detail on the Agatha figure. I like it a lot. Why am I showing this right now? This entire line ships from Amazon tomorrow. So like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, all those places will probably have this line of Disney Plus Marvel Legends figures available tomorrow for shipping. That's also Talos, Nick Fury, both from Secret Invasion, and let's see, I'm trying to think who else. Well, those would be the ones I can think of, but it's that entire line is shipping tomorrow from Amazon and probably very, very soon from every other store, toy store. So, okay, let me remove Agatha. And finally, with Halloween coming, something I broke down and pre-ordered myself. Universal Monsters Frankentron. Megatron meets Frankenstein. The detail, I think, is awesome. The coloring is awesome. turns into a tank. And that looks really cool too. $34.99, which I don't think is bad. It's a relatively large figure. And it's the first that I've seen in this type of Universal Monsters mashup. See what I did there? Monster mashup, like the popular song. Monster Mash. Okay. Anyway, I would love to see other like characters done this way, but they're kind of limited, right? I mean, wouldn't they have to all be Decepticons? Like, I don't see that they could do any of these as Autobots because, you know, they're the monsters, right? I'm not quite sure. Now, part of me wishes this was a Dracula Megatron, just because how great would Renfield Starscream be? If they did like a Renfield version of Starscream. So like the insects, the bugs, all of that stuff, you know, the cowering, you know, the toadying Starscream. I think that would be a really cool thing to do a mashup of. But yeah, I really like this. Now here's the only problem. You would say, oh, awesome, that's probably going to ship next month right before Halloween, January 20-something. Closer to late January shipping. So I would say at least the pre-orders are out now, but yeah, it won't come out till January, but I think it looks really cool. I absolutely love the cannon because it's very much like from like the James Whale Frankenstein movie, you know, that type of like look and feel and design. I really love what they did here. And some of these just don't do it for me, right? Like there's some of the Transformers that are like Jurassic Park, and they had one that was Ghostbusters. Now the Ghostbusters was difficult because if it had a little bit more detail and color, I would have loved it. But to me, it just looked a bit blasé. So, because I love the Ghostbusters franchise. I'm a big fan of it. So, like, I decided not to get the Ectomobile / Transformer. But yeah, this I think is cool. Thanks, Doom. Yeah, I thought it was neat. Like I said, I broke down and pre-ordered this one. Let's see. Let me remove this here. I'd like to say I pre-ordered it from Entertainment Earth, where, you know, if you use code Hoarder, I'm just saying for no apparent reason, it actually supports me. But no, I actually pre-ordered that from Amazon, though. So, gotta be honest. Now, everybody, we look at the future of comic books. The future of comics all the way to 1 week from today. Okay, so first up, look at this insanity, everybody. Avengers, Uncanny Avengers, Avengers Incorporated, Janet Van Dyne doing like kind of a murder mystery, trying to find a killer, teaming up with one of the alternates, I believe, of Mr. Sinister. I can't keep track of them all. I apologize. But it's like a superhero and a villain working together to find a murderer. And what really excites me is it's written by L. Ewing, who I think is one of the best writers in comics right now, and one of the best ongoing writers for Marvel. Ongoing in this case, meaning all sorts of different series that he's been doing for Marvel. But yeah, I think Avengers Incorporated sounds really cool, and I will probably review this next week. There's a very good chance I will review this. I don't always like to show books and be like, I'm definitely reviewing this one. You betcha. And then wink. But like, this sounds really neat to me, and it's one of my favorite writers. So, very good chance I will review this. Again, that's not a promise. It's a very, very good chance. It's a very good chance. Okay. Okay. Let me remove this. Batman Gargoyle of Gotham from DC Black Label. Also coming out next week during Batman Day. Now, I believe these books are hitting on Tuesday. I think technically Batman Day is Saturday. I believe it's a little bit up in the air because, like, when the solicits came out and everything, it sounded like Batman Day was going to be on the weekend. But, like, a lot of these books, I think, will actually be available on that Tuesday. Now, who knows? Maybe they will. Some of these will be only available Saturday, next Saturday. But anyway, Batman the Gargoyle of Gotham by Rafael Grampa. And he wrote and did the artwork. It does mention another person involved, but it's confusing because the solicit just mentioned Rafael Grampa twice. So I don't know what to say there. This is one of the alternate covers, and I believe it's like $6.99, but it's a DC Black Label. So chances are it's the thicker book, it's the larger book, which unfortunately doesn't really fit a normal comic book board and backer, thingy. But it should be a really good story, and this is the ultimate story of Batman turning his back on Bruce Wayne and being full-time Batman in an incredibly dark and gritty take on Batman. With the name Gargoyle of Gotham, it's definitely what springs to mind, right? But yeah, I think that's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. And that is not the only Batman love coming to comic books next week. There's like a special edition of Batman 89, which was this sequel. It's so wild to explain this. So wild. Basically, it's a sequel to Batman Returns. But by, like, if it was by Tim Burton, and it was Danny Elfman, and it was the writer of the original Batman, Sam Hamm. So it's got an original, like, special wraparound cover specifically for Batman Day. Like, that book exists. You can get that trade. It's available. It was 6 issues turned into a trade, but now there's a special version of it coming out for Batman Day. And then I think there's also a special version of Batman and Joker. That crazy, awesome series. Again, another 6-issue series. That one was so good. That was an intense and violent and just crazy story about murderers going around that look like the Joker, but it's not the Joker doing it, and Batman and Joker have to team up to figure out what is going on. It was very good. So, a lot of Batman. And next up, and finally, the final book that we're going to be talking about, Batman and Robin, written by Joshua Williamson. And he is now what you would call the architect of DC Comics. That's a big deal, everybody. Like, I believe Dan DiDio at one point was the architect of DC Comics. And I want to say at one point Tom King was. Scott Snyder, I believe, at one point. So, like, the biggest, like, writers usually become, like, the go-to person to come up with a huge swath of what DC is going to do for, like, 6 months to a year, something like this. So this is the dawn of DC, Batman and Robin #1. And that's Damian there. So it's Bruce and Damian going against the craziest and most dangerous of the Rogues Gallery. So if you are a Batman fan, chances are you will probably pick this up. And being that Batman Day is next week, it's almost a guarantee you'll pick this up. There's also an excellent cover with White Rabbit. But I really wanted to kind of show how they were going to depict Batman and Robin in this picture. So that's what I went with because it's the title. But yeah, the White Rabbit cover is really cool. And it's by Stanley Art Germ Lau, who has just done gorgeous covers for a number of different books in the last like few years. Okay, everybody, we're not done yet. As much as you want me to be done, we're not done quite yet. Our next review, Birds of Prey #1, and it's very difficult to see it on this white cover. So even if I had a secondary camera, which my friend Xbox Live Mike definitely wants me to do soon, even if I had a secondary camera to show you, it would be hard to see that Chris Pacello, who did the cover, has Harley Quinn take the lasso of truth and wrap up Wonder Woman and say, "Now tell the truth." I just thought it was cute. Now what's interesting is Wonder Woman is actually not in this issue. I'm gonna guess she shows up soon, but we have the ultimate team that basically makes villains want to defecate themselves. Okay, like Black Canary is talking to Green Arrow, and she's like, "I need the ultimate team. I need to put together this ultimate team." So the team she puts together is Big Barda. Like right there, you have a member of the New Gods. You have a member of the New Gods in your team. Okay, then Cassandra Cain. I'm trying to remember the other one's name. There's a character in here that I do not know well at all. Give me 1 second, I apologize. Zealot. There we go. Zealot. So of all the comic books I've read, all the issues, all that stuff, I don't think I've ever read anything with the character Zealot. So apparently connected to Grifter. So maybe many, many years ago in something I read with Grifter, possibly. But yeah, that team plus the little surprise. They wanted a surprise, or basically Black Canary wanted a surprise. Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is also part of this team. Okay? And there's this great scene where Cassandra Cain is talking about, like, hey, we should have Harley as part of this team, because at that point, Canary wasn't sure who the final member should be. She said, we need a fifth. They all kind of agreed they needed a fifth. And Cassandra goes with, hey, what about Harley? And there's this excellent sequence where Harley is trying to figure out something in someone's apartment. Cassandra Cain thinks, like, you know, Harley's trying to rob them or something, but they get into this big fight, and everything that Cassandra thinks Harley is going to do in combat is completely the opposite of what Harley does. And she sees Harley as a wild card and being the ultimate surprise that this team needs. Okay? So now that the team is together and ready to completely kick ass, I usually don't give the big spoiler away, but man, I got to, because if I don't, you're going to be like, okay, so why was this team necessary? It'd be like the entire issue is just putting the team together, and then them, like, you know, going out for like, what's it called? Girls' dinner, I think that's the term. I think I don't know. I don't know exactly what that means, so hopefully it's nothing crazy. Okay, I knew it was a meme. It was a popular meme for a while. I remember that. Okay, anyway, this is what has to be done. Okay, this is the damn mission. And this is Meridian from the future telling them what is happening. And I am here to help you break into Themyscira. It gets better. It gets better. I'm here to help you break into Themyscira and rescue Sin, who is Black Canary's sister, from the Amazons before they accidentally bring about the end of the world. Like, I'm like, that's completely, utterly insane. And Harley is like, no effing way, and laughing. That's the final panel. And everyone else, all the other teammates, look shocked. So they have to go to Amazon Island and Themyscira, break her out, and basically try to stop the end of a world. I can understand why they wanted Big Barda now, for sure. And it makes a lot more sense that Wonder Woman is on this cover. But, like, the book is really funny. I'm excited to see where it goes next. Like, that's gonna be a really tall order for them to try to do. Even with that team. Even with any team. I kind of feel that if certain other heroes knew about this, they would want to help too. Like, this seems almost insurmountable for any team. But yeah, I think it's really good. Kelly Thompson wrote it, and then art is by Leonardo Romero, and colors by Jordi Belair. And Jordi Belair has been doing some of this excellent colors. Now, this book visually may not appeal to everybody because it has a very retro-looking vibe to it. Like, it very much, the coloring of it, and like the tones and like even like character designs, the artwork itself very much has a retro vibe. And the covers kind of like are more like modern looking, the artwork on the covers. So I was a little surprised by that. But it's very good, and I'll definitely check out Birds of Prey 2. Everybody, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Thank you. Again, I'm Hoardergamer. I'm thrilled to be able to borrow this channel from Doomkiller HD and Doom Squad Gaming once a week to talk to you about games, comic books, toys, you know, whatever I find interesting. I can say too, I would definitely, before I forget, definitely check out the live action One Piece on Netflix. It is awesome. And let's also hope that Netflix decides to pay the actors and writers what they are owed. Let's hope that happens as well. So, again, you can see me on Twitch. I don't know why you would want to, but if you did, twitch.tv/Hoardergamer. And right now I'm doing a lot of Diablo 4, Wayfinder. I'm enjoying Wayfinder. And I'll talk a lot about Starfield. I'm not streaming that. That's off stream. I'm playing that. But I'll talk about it, of course. Baldur's Gate 3. Also, I want to do a playthrough of the 2018 Spider-Man. So I'll be bringing that to the stream soon, too, as well. So, everybody, thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Have a good one. Bye-bye.